Well, let's see how this ends. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So, that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episodes 9 and 10 of Fionna and Cake. That's right, we're at the finale. Kind of sucks, kind of sad that we're already here, but we are. And I'm just going to say this right off the bat for those who may not remember, or may not have heard somehow, but we are not going to be going straight into season 2. Most of the time on this channel, I don't go straight into the next season. I take a break to kind of refresh myself, watch something else in the meantime, and I'll come back to it later. And this is definitely something I need to do because we went straight from Adventure Time Distant Lands into Fionna and Cake, and I think I'm at that point where I need to take a break. And I knew this was going to happen, so I set it up for that. And don't get me wrong, I'm obviously loving this series. It's nothing to do with that. It's just, if I watch, for the most part, any series for too long, I can get a little burnt out. And that's why I take breaks. Sometimes I'll take a break during a series, during a season. But then there's some shows where I don't need breaks as often. And like with One Piece, at least, I don't really need a break at all for most time. I think I've taken in all the years I've been reacting to One Piece specifically, I think I took 2 breaks total. Not counting when I've had to take a break because the series went on hold, like it is currently. Not counting those moments. I'm counting when it went on break intentionally. Or when I put it on break intentionally, rather. But anyway, the point is, we'll talk about it again in the afterthoughts, especially for those on Patreon. But we will be moving on to something else. And I'll say what that is in the afterthoughts as well. That being said, this season has been building up to a lot of crazy shit, honestly. There's a lot of setup, a lot of preparation, maybe for Prismo's boss. That might be what we're going for. We haven't really learned much of anything about Prismo's boss, other than they're the very top and everyone has to kind of listen to them. Not only Prismo, but Orby that we saw last episode, and Scarab and everyone. And it seems like Scarab, last episode, was also given the go-ahead to keep going in his job by the boss. So yeah, I'm very curious how this is going to end. Especially with everything that's been going down involving all the shit happening. Because we had the Lich last time, we had the reveal that Fionna had a crown and was hiding it because, you know, she didn't want Simon to go back to being the Ice King and didn't want to cause any pain and hurt to anyone else. She's kind of having a breakdown, to be fair. She and Cake have been fighting. It's just been a whole ass thing. A lot of crazy shit going down. And it's definitely about to reach its peak. I don't know what to expect, if I'm being honest. Excuse me, sorry for the yawning. Early when I'm doing this. But yeah, I don't know really what to expect because with a series like this, it could go a number of different ways. And then we've also got to have enough of a setup and preparation and overall layout for season 2 here. So I guess at this point we just have to watch and see. So let's get into this and hope for the best. But we will do so after I quickly remind you that we have a Patreon now. Yeah, this is new. We started it this year, if you hadn't heard. And it's something that's going to help out a lot with the channel and with me in general. Because this is my full-time job and I don't monetize my videos. Because we don't really have enough subscribers or viewers for that to do anything. So we're using Patreon instead. And it's something that can really help if you're able to do it. It's completely optional. You don't have to. But you do get some pretty cool rewards if you do. You can check out the Patreon linked in the description below and see all the different tiers we have. They'll give you rewards such as early access to various types of reactions depending on your tier, as well as other things such as getting to vote on exclusive polls in the future, and the likes of getting to choose things for me to react to in the future. Completely your choice as long as I haven't seen it yet. Stuff like that. Full breakdown of each tier, again, is on the Patreon page itself. You can check that out there. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. And now, that being said, let us get into the reaction. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, this is a safe ending. And what I mean by that is it wrapped everything up while also feeling like it could possibly continue, but not necessarily needing to. If this had been the end, if there was only the one season of Fionna and Cake, this ending would have been entirely satisfying and leaves off at a place where it's like, okay, that's all we need. That's all there needs to be. That's all there, like, really, in a way, should be. Like, they save their world. They defeat Scarab. They are able to accept things the way they are. Simon is able to come to terms with him and Betty's relationship maybe not being as healthy as he initially thought. There was still love. It was still absolutely a mutually loving relationship. But there was also the fact that he basically always like led her along his plans and his desires. It was entirely one-sided. He never like put faith in Betty's. And we saw that through the story, through Casper and Nova. Simon kept choosing Casper's choices and never like looked at Nova's, and Nova always went along with it. Nova always went along with it at every turn. And that's fine. But he never like listened to what she wanted and never gave her a chance. And her choices might have helped out and might have made things better. The thing is, like Betty told him, when he did get to speak with her briefly, she said she doesn't regret where they ended up. That this is what their story led to. And I think that's the best way to come out of this. Acknowledging that things could have been better, things could have been different, but this is what happened. And not having any regrets over the choices made, but moving to become better in the future. Like, this is allowing Simon to be able to move on, which is something he just hasn't been able to do since regaining his sanity. He's now able to live again. And having the therapy sessions with Minerva, like that's a great touch. That's just that I love that. But oh crap. Sorry. OBS was acting weird there for a second. But yeah, I love that. And so it's a really nuanced take. It's a really interesting, nuanced view of things that doesn't make Simon necessarily out to be the bad guy. It's just that he wasn't as attentive and trusting in Betty as he should have been. And he knows that now. And again, Betty is okay with it. She doesn't regret where things have led. And honestly, with how things went, everything kind of led to a lot of good, too. It allowed Simon to meet Fionna and Cake. It allowed Simon to meet Marcy. And to save her and put her on the right path. A lot of this, like, a lot of these bad decisions did lead to good things. Just like a lot of good decisions can lead to bad things. It's never as black and white as some people would like you to believe. And this finale maturely went into that. And it's the same thing with Fionna and Cake, because even like Scarab is saying at the end, it's like, now that you're legit, you're going to have to face all the bad repercussions too. You're going to have to, you're no longer in this fantasy bubble. You're going to have to face the harshness of reality. And Fionna's like, yeah, that just means we're real. That just means like we're like a real thing. And it's like, yeah, because reality comes with harshness. It comes with like problems, mistakes, issues, and shortcomings. That's just always going to happen. And it always should. As much as it might suck, those mistakes make us real. Again, going back to Simon, it's like that's, again, his mistakes, his problems led him to so many good things. Led him to do such good things. And yes, it led to bad things too. It led to, obviously, him becoming Ice King. But, like, it's a mixed bag. And you have to take both sides of that. Scarab, ending up becoming like Prismo in the end is a fascinating choice. I wonder if like that dynamic's going to be shown again in season 2. If we're going to get more of Scarab and Prismo just doing all of that. And the climax of this was like really cool. Like there was so much like cool action to it. I even like Scarab turning into the little bug things. That was a fun touch. Bringing in Betty was like kind of necessary. Um, and I like that we did get to like see her like talk to Simon in like kind of the memory that she was able to speak to him through that. Because otherwise, like, she's, Gulb now, so she can't really speak to him otherwise. But I'm glad that they got to, like, have one final resolution to that. And just all in all, like, the tension surrounding Scarab destroying and tearing apart the universe and just all of that connected to it, it was just a really good finale. Everything again wrapped up really well. I like the character arcs kind of wrapping up, everyone kind of getting together. Like the confirmation that Gary and Marshall Lee are a couple, are dating. Because last time they just kissed. We didn't get like confirmation that they were dating. Because that is a different thing. But no, we have that confirmation now that they are together. And pretty much everyone in the city seems to know about like the magic and crazy shit now. I mean, how could they not? The universe itself has been made legit, so it's no longer a rogue universe. It's just like there's so many aspects to this that just I feel like needed to happen. And just getting to see Shermie and Beth again. Like, I honestly didn't think we'd get to see them again, despite all this universe hopping and all. That was a different timeline. That's the really interesting part. Simon never found that out. That's just his like distant future of his ooh. Like Shermie, Beth, all of that is like the very distant future of the ooh he lives in. So that's fascinating in and of itself. But yeah, getting to actually see them again was a really cool touch, even if Shermie was, taken over by Simon most of the time. It was just a cool addition that I really liked from the scope of, everything we had seen throughout Distant Lands and the regular Adventure Time. It's like this kind of connects all of it. And I mean, I understand that this is a shared, like, universe. Like, it all connects anyway. I mean, Simon alone is proof of that. But it's, like, connecting to other things than just what we've seen already. It's, like... And showing, again, something that we only briefly saw at the very end of the last episode of the main series. It's just cool, I'm allowed to just enjoy that. I also like that Prismo could just like break out of the cube he was trapped in. It took effort, but he was able to do it. We still never saw the boss. I assume we're going to at some point, maybe in season 2, but maybe that's gonna have to wait. Might not happen then either. But I'm just very happy with where it ended. A lot of good resolution, a lot of really good character arcs, like coming to a close for now, at least. I'm very curious how season 2 is going to go, because I luckily stayed away from all spoilers while this was airing. So I don't know anything about season 2, and please do not tell me anything about season 2. I'm very, very interested to see, like, how Fionna and Kate get back into things, if Gary and Marshall are going to continue to have a notable role. What about, like, other characters from their universe, like Queenie or Hunter? Marshall's mom, we got a little brief glimpse of her again. And then Simon, is he gonna like have a role to play still? There's just a lot of questions, and I'm very, very interested to see what they do. I'm also interested to see, like, if they take, like, if they continue to push the adult themes and like visuals and whatnot that they showed in this season, because they obviously had swearing and stuff, and there was a lot more adult themes that like Adventure Time did do, but just never was able to fully go into as much, because it like, again, unquestionably, while Adventure Time had a lot of adult moments and themes and whatnot, unquestionably Fiona and Cake was much more adult oriented. Like, this is clearly a series that is meant for people who grew up watching Adventure Time. And with it being on streaming, they're able to get away with a lot more that they weren't before, allowing it to even further delve into that side of things. And I love that. I genuinely think that's a just fantastic way to do it. Because this isn't the first show that's done that, where it's had like a sequel series. And I would consider this a sequel, not just a spin-off. It's not the first show that's had a sequel series that has been clearly made to be for an older audience, because it's made for the people who grew up with the first series. I mean, it's obvious I'm talking about Legend of Korra, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. Legend of Korra, I personally like better than Avatar The Last Airbender, but I absolutely adore both of them, just to make that clear. But Legend of Korra did some things that Avatar, as adult and mature as Avatar could get, just didn't tackle. Legend of Korra tackled like issues that dealt, again, a lot more with the age of the character. Korra being 17 at the start of the series and becoming an adult through the course of the seasons, it is a very different like vibe than Aang being, even though was stuck in ice 100 years, he's still a 12-year-old. Katara's 14. Sokka's 15, I believe. And Toph is also 12. Zuko, I believe, is 15 or 16 himself. It's like the main cast are all kids. But in Legend of Korra, they're, young. They start as like the very end of teenagers and become young adults as the series progresses, and that's kind of the struggles they face. Avatar has kids going through things that kids should never have to go through, facing adult issues that, are definitely beyond their years. But Korra was about facing issues of your years. Like older teens into young adults having to deal with, becoming young adults. And there were so many things with that, felt very much more adult than Avatar. And again, it was made for those who grew up with the original series. And now we're going to be getting another series for that as well, Seven Havens. I think that's set to come out next year. That's going to be exciting. I'm like super excited for that. Because that's going to be bring like our avatars aged back down again, and clearly going to be made for a new generation of kids, but also those who grew up with the first two shows. It's going to kind of bridge that gap into both sides of that, I feel. And I'm so excited for that. I'm just so excited for that. But I'm very, very hopeful that season 2 of Fionna and Cake is able to do even more with the adult themes now that they've proven that can work with season 1. And I'm just very excited to see what more we can get. But that is going to have to wait. As I've said, we are not going straight into season 2. I mentioned this in the pre-thoughts for those of you who are watching on YouTube. I think I was supposed to say this in the reaction. I completely forgot. But those of you watching on Patreon, I'm saying it now, okay? I was going to say it in the reaction, I just forgot. But yeah, we're not going straight into season 2. I've said this with past episodes too. We are going to be taking a break. The big gist of it is just, I need a break. I feel like I don't want to force myself into the next season right away. We already did Distant Lands into season 1 of this, and so we're going to come back when I'm more refreshed and ready for more of this kind of craziness. But in the meantime, we do need something else to replace Fionna and Cake on Mondays. And I mean, I thought of like kind of the perfect thing because it's also made by Pendleton Ward, as well as Ian James Cordy and multiple others. We're going to be checking out The Elephant, a 4-episode event, as it was like promoted, that is made by the creators of multiple big name like animated series, and is based on the one little trailer I saw, looks like it's kind of going to be like this big, like really cool, really trippy series about like self-discovery and whatnot. And I'm very excited for it. It's short, it's simple, but we're gonna get to an episode a week for that. And we're not going to be getting, I'm just going to say this right now, we're not going to be getting to season 2 of Fionna and Cake right after that. It's not like, oh, we're going to watch that for 4 weeks and then get back to Fionna and Cake. No. We're going to take a little bit longer before we get back to Fionna and Cake. We'll do something else after that. I just don't know what right now. But for now, The Elephant is going to take this spot. And we will get to that starting right away next week. Whether you're watching this on the Patreon or the YouTube, the same still counts. Next Monday will be the first episode of The Elephant. If there's anything I forgot to mention or just didn't mention that you want to hear my thoughts on, please mention that in the comments. I do see every comment and respond to them when I feel like I have something to say, and or if you specifically ask something of me or whatnot. But thank you so much for tuning in. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed this reaction series as well. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.